Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today is a guide for Mr. High Noon himself, the gunslinger McCree. Now because McCree is actually kind of straightforward in terms of his kit, some of this guide will be focused on when to play him and when not to, as that's actually really important. He is one of the best damage dealers in the game in the right situation, but picking him stubbornly can seriously work against you. The shooter's burden. Right, so the first thing to deal with is the most obvious thing about McCree. His metrics for success are measured in the most unforgiving way possible, hitting consistent shots. Now I made a video which I'll link here about how I practice his mechanics, and it's certainly true that the more you practice the more you'll be rewarded with him. As a precision character he is prone to having hot and cool streaks, even amongst the top players. Take Taimu from Envious as a great example. There have been many times on LAN where he has been absent in matches and then completely taken over by finding his groove and getting seriously hot. McCree is just that kind of character, and this idea is true even in real sports. I compare the life of a McCree player to a specialised basketball shooter, like a Ray Allen for example. Just like basketball shooters, practice and repetition of mechanics is the key to consistent performance. Unfortunately there is no easy answer, it takes work. Now I know there are some of you watching who have more talent than most, and you might say, I don't struggle to be consistent, but the point still stands. If you're supremely talented, as I'm sure some of you are, imagine how good you could be if you applied disciplined practice. Positioning. Now that we have dealt with the barrier of entry to McCree, I'd like to talk about an ideal scenario in which to pick him and how you should play that out. McCree is actually very vulnerable, a glass cannon if you will. Because of this, McCree works best with a Rhine shield in front of him, and supports behind him, keeping him alive to do his job. That is the pocket that a talented McCree can thrive in, being set up effectively to take advantage of his high headshot damage. There are other scenarios that can work too. For example, King of the Hill isn't a great game mode for Rhine as a general rule, but McCree can actually work with a well-played Winston. I'll say it like this: McCree needs either shielding or space to be effective. If you have one or both, then he is a great choice. On a personal level, I like to play him behind a shield and close enough to my supports to be able to turn and deal with a dive threat to them. This is actually really important. The synergy between you and the people keeping you alive as McCree is vital to your team's success. Too many people play a flanky style of McCree, going off on their own thinking they can shoot their way out of anything. The one time that I deem that okay is in trying to leverage his ultimate. Getting high ground, preferably behind an enemy team, is one good way to use it, but that requires your teammates to be coordinated with you. As a rule, flanking on your own as McCree is not advisable. You're too squishy and you're leaving your supports more vulnerable than they already were. The only DPS characters that can get away with consistent flanking are those with high enough mobility to get in and out of fights quickly. If McCree is away from the action for too long, you're likely better on another hero with that playstyle. In the perfect world, McCree is positioned in the heart of the team, constantly shooting things in the head until the entire enemy team is dead. Stun usage. Okay, now let's talk about McCree's biggest source of his utility, his stun grenade. The one misconception about this tool is that it's a one-stop shop answer to any flanker or dive hero like Genji or Tracer. It's great, don't get me wrong, and can put either of those in a certain death scenario, but the matchups are a lot more even since the Fan the Hammer nerf. Both of them have the tools to win a footsie battle with you and can easily kill you. The stun can juggle certain heroes so it doesn't hold them in place. They may keep their momentum anyway, making it weaker crowd control than Roadhog's hook for example. It is far too easy for Genji to reflect it back, likely hitting you and your teammates, which is a nightmare scenario. It's best against Reaper or Tracer, as he's the easiest to hit after stunning, and she's a one-shot. Learn the animations of your opponent's characters when stunned, and that'll inform whether you fan the hammer or go for a headshot, which is probably most easily timed after their head-bobbing animation has finished. The stun grenade isn't quite the ultra-specific tool it was intended to be, and actually performs a much more dexterous role. It has a low cooldown in the grand scheme of things, and can grant him a big edge in its effective distance versus other squishy DPS. Although McCree no longer shreds tanks, it can be helpful to crowd control a Winston who wants to fly away, or a Roadhog as he looks to seize an insta-kill shot on your teammate. It can halt an unshielded Reaper ultimate or disrupt a Roadhog whole hog. Its uses are actually numerous, and how I like to look at it is as a gap in any engagement that you so choose, be that for your own damage or for evasion. Because of that, you can use it to dictate the flow of a fight to your needs. It's an incredibly useful tool and far more flexible than people realise. It has a large radius. Pros test its limits often as it can result in an instant kill if landed. Toss it in after a graviton is ending, or above a Deathball's Rhine shield for multi-stuns. It's good to set up a shot for yourself but also teammates. That fraction of a second can help Rhine hit a charge, Roadhog hit a hook, or another skill shot land precise damage. Target priority. The first piece of advice that I'm going to give you is go for shots that you can hit, an airborne Mercy and or Pharah being an example of a high priority target to take down down first. Spamming Orion Shield is okay, but the goal should be landing headshots on squishies, therefore it's best to prioritise high-risk enemy DPS that you can reasonably eliminate without too much trouble. Tracer you can insta-kill if you out-footsie her, Reaper is susceptible to being flashed after wraith forming or kept at a range where he isn't a threat to you, etc. After that, then move on to a Lucio and then tanks. He is a duelist after all. By all means, seize on an opportunity if it presents itself in a poke battle. If someone shows poor positioning, do not hesitate to dispense justice. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you want us to cover anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below. Also, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new streams and videos. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.